We did it. We fixed the power joke. Now, if you're watching the last video, wondering what the problem was, it was a real stupid problem. And I don't mean like kind of stupid. Like, it was a very dumb problem. I always follow, you know, the guidelines of process of elimination. Always. And I preach the process of elimination guidelines all the time. And I thought that, my gosh, this thing's loud. And I had thought that I was following those guidelines, doing what I was doing, but it turns out I wasn't. So about 6-8 months ago, I went down and I bought 2 new batteries for this thing because I was sure that the reason that this thing didn't want to start was because the batteries were bad. You know, it makes sense. You know, if you don't have good batteries, it ain't gonna start. So I went down, bought 2 brand new batteries, and that fixed the problem for like a day. And so, you know, like ever since, I've been dealing with, you know, not hard starts, but this truck just didn't want to crank, and then I was blaming the glow plugs. Like, oh, it's the glow plug. That's why it's not, you know, it's not one to turn over and crank because it's too cold. You know, the glow plugs aren't warming stuff up. You know, and then when the thing wouldn't start whatsoever, and it had like a electrical jam in it pretty much, I was like, okay, well, that's got to be the starter. You know, the starter's gone bad now. You know, this truck's got 265,000 miles on this truck, and I was like, oh, okay, fine. The starter's finally gone. It might be the original starter. I don't know how long they last for. So I changed the starter. That didn't work, as you seen in the last video. The starter, it did the same thing. So I finally gave up on it, and my dad came over and helped me out, and he was looking at it, and you know, we got a test light out. We were testing fuses, making sure everything was good there. You know, we were doing everything, you know, process of elimination. Well, my dad was under the impression that I had already checked batteries and stuff like that, which I had. You know, batteries were good. So I was standing on the passenger side of the truck, and he was on the driver's side checking fuses. And, you know, I was being my childish self, just poking the battery with the test light. And I realized that when I, you know, because the test for a test light is you touch the negative to the negative side of the battery and the positive to the positive, and the test light side to the positive side of the battery, and if it lights up, then your test light's good. So we had done that, and we still had the negative hooked up to the negative side of the battery, and I was poking at the positive side of the battery with it, being a kid, you know, goofing off, and pretty soon it dawned on me that I was poking like, if you've ever seen the battery cable for one of these things, there's a big block of lead on the passenger side and on the positive terminal, and I was poking at that, and it dawned on me that that wasn't hot. There's no electricity to it, even though it's touching the positive part of the battery. So after further investigation on that whole deal, we realized that both grounds on the battery cables were bad. They weren't grounding right. There was issues at the top of the battery, you know, just at the posts. They weren't getting a good connection there. And you could actually see in the positive post on the passenger side where the connector had actually been arcing out to the post. Like, there was like burnt spots all over on it. So it just wasn't getting a good connection there. And I guess that because it wasn't getting a good connection, whenever I hit the key to try to spin the starter motor, it just didn't have enough juice to do it. So it just went kaput on everything, or it was drawing too much power, and the arc out made everything else just shut down. Because I realized that, you know, thinking about it now, I should have known that was part of the problem, because when I unhooked the batteries to put the starter in, that like reset everything and turned the key over. Everything acted like it always did. Nothing was, you know, no problems, no issues, and you know, but as soon as you put the power to run the starter, it would all shut off again. So I should have known that was the problem, but she's running better now. And it's weird because with this done, like now that we have it, so once we fixed the contacts on top of the battery, like the contacts at the post, I went under the truck and I cleaned up the grounds where the ground wires are attached to on the frame. I went down and cleaned those up, and that made it even, you know, even better. I've never heard this truck start so effortlessly in the year and a half that I've owned it. I mean, the way that it starts now, I mean, it cranks right over. I've never heard that starter spin that fast. And it's honestly, like, this has probably been a problem. Well, not probably, I know it's been a problem with this truck since I bought it. So now all the contacts are right the way that they're supposed to be. I got anti-corrosion on all of it so that they won't corrode over again, and we should be good. And the thing, you know, there was kind of a little like icing on top. So once I got to looking around the batteries and stuff, I found some vacuum lines that are broken. They're dried out and gone. And I showed them to my dad, and he was like, oh yeah, that might, he's like, well, it should run like crap with that big of a vacuum leak. And I started thinking about it, and I told him, you know, completely unrelated, I was telling him how the air conditioner controller stopped working and that it would only come out through the defroster, nothing else. And he's like, well, that might be why what's wrong with those. He's like, that might be what those vacuum lines control, because that's all vacuum actuated in these things. So hopefully soon I'll be able to get those vacuum lines replaced and dealt with, and I won't have, and my AC will work right again. Like, the AC works, and it actually works better now than it did when you know, it works better now with good batteries than it did before without. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but anyway, it works still, but it only comes out of the defroster. So hopefully I can get those vacuum lines fixed, and that is the problem, and I'll be able to use all the settings on the air conditioner, not just you know, actually be able to have the air conditioner blowing at me. So anyway, I just wanted to make this little video here, a little update that the power joker is running again, and better than ever. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, give me a thumbs up here for the first time, hit that subscribe button. See you all in the next one.